Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
My freshman year of college, the weekend before Halloween, me and my girlfriends all went to this house party that a fraternity was hosting. And we hung out with this fraternity a lot. We were friends with a handful of the members. So we went and it was going to be this big rager. But one of our friends, who was a member of the fraternity, fell into the speaker and broke it. And so there was no music and it was just really lame. So me and one of my girlfriends I came with, and then one of the brothers named Scott, we'll call him for this story, that's not his real name. The three of us are talking and we decide to go back to Scott's house and we'll just hang out there and have a chilled night. Whatever, no big deal. Now, I want to also add context and say that the neighborhood that this all takes place in is full of older homes built starting in the early 1900s to like the 1950s. And a lot of students live in this neighborhood because it's very walkable to get to campus and to the bars downtown. So it's a pretty popular place for students to live, and the homes are a lot older. Now, me and my girlfriend both had been to Scott's house before a handful of times. We had been for pre-games, we had been for parties. We were familiar with the home. And I've always had spicy senses, like towards the paranormal. And so a few times when I would be in this house, my ears would pop like I was on an airplane, which when that happens to me, that usually means that there's some other vibe, energy going on, not in the physical realm. And I just figure this is an older house. It's probably someone who used to live here, whatever. Me, Scott, and my gal pal, we're hanging out. It's getting later. And a guy texts my girlfriend who was with us. She leaves. So then it's just me and Scott hanging out in the living room downstairs. And I haven't seen any other roommates at this point. Like, it doesn't seem like anyone else is really home besides me and Scott. So we hang out some more and it starts to get really late, like probably close to like 2:30 in the morning. And in our college town, it's relatively small and there were no more Ubers running to take me home to my dorm. So Scott offers that I can stay in his bedroom and he'll stay down on the couch and I don't have to go home. I can wait and go home tomorrow. And I don't have to like walk home in the dark by myself or whatever. So I'm like, sweet, I'll stay up in your room. Not knowing at the time that this man never slept in his room. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So Scott walks me up the stairs of their house. And when you get to the top of their stairs, there's a long hallway running like perpendicular to the stairs. And there's a bedroom door on either end of the hallway. And then there's doors off the sides of the hallway. And Scott's bedroom was here. It was at the end of the hallway and his bedroom door looked out and was directly opposite this bedroom door. Hopefully that makes sense. Scott makes sure I'm situated. I take off my shoes. I put them at the foot of the bed. He's like, let me know if you need anything. I'll be downstairs. And he shuts the door and goes downstairs. And I'm alone in this room trying to fall asleep. I left the lamp on because I started to feel kind of strange. Couldn't put my finger on what it was. And I don't remember specifically falling asleep. But all of a sudden, I am conscious, but I'm very disoriented. I don't feel fully awake, but I feel like I am lucid, like I know what's going on. And to my shock and confusion, I'm standing at the opposite end of their upstairs hallway in this house. And I'm looking down the hallway into Scott's bedroom. I can see my body. I'm looking at my body. My hair is behind me. I'm laying on my side with my back to the bedroom door. I can see my outfit I had worn that night. I can see where I had set my shoes down by the bed and the lamp on. And then I see in the doorway, there is something standing there watching me sleep, looking at my body. I don't know what this thing was, and I do not want to know. I'm Catholic. I'm good. I don't need to know. But what I can say is that it was pretty much the same height of the door frame. It was very tall, and its body appeared to be muscular, but it was weird, lumpy muscular. And the best way I can describe it is it looked like the arms and legs and torso were made of tree roots or ropes that had been like twisted together to form a body. And then the head, I never saw this thing's face, but the head from behind looked like it had ram's horns, like on top of the head. I am filled with dread. I am realizing that I'm in danger and all I want is to get around people. And I start to pray because this is the craziest nightmare I've ever had. I've never had a dream like this before or since. I start to pray and this thing starts to turn around. And I never saw its face because as soon as it starts to turn around, I sit up and I'm back in bed. And at this point, I have sweat through my clothes, but I'm freezing cold. I'm terrified. And the door that Scott had shut to his room was now wide open. I could see straight down the hallway to where I guess my soul had just been standing watching me sleep, watching me watch this thing. I don't really know. I grab my stuff and I run. I've never run that fast in my life. I ran barefoot by myself in the middle of the night. I rolled my foot, and I was so full of adrenaline, I didn't realize I had hurt my foot till the next day. I run to my dorm. Thankfully, my roommate and her boyfriend are there asleep. Climb in my bed, pull the covers over my head, spend the rest of the night praying, and I do not come out till I see the sun. I never tell anybody about this because I feel crazy. So flash forward, now I'm a sophomore, and me and two of my girlfriends are renting a house in this same neighborhood where the students live and the houses are old, in the same neighborhood as the creepy house. It's syllabus week, so it's in August, and one of the guys who used to live there and our friend who broke the speaker at the Halloween party, they text us that they're bored, and so they come over to hang out. And so the five of us are all sitting in this living room, catching up, talking. We haven't seen each other all summer. One of my roommates asks them, "Where are you guys living this year?" And asks the one guy in particular, "Are you still living in your old house?" And he was like, "No." And his face just changed and looked way more serious all of a sudden. And so I just threw it out there and I was like, yeah, that house was kind of creepy. Not elaborating, but it was very creepy. So he proceeds to tell me and my roommates about how haunted the house was and how when he was home alone, he would hear something use the voice of one of the other roommates and call his name, and he would go look for his roommate or his friend, and the house was empty and he was in it by himself. He also mentioned how random stuff would slam and they wouldn't be able to find where the slamming was coming from. But the part that freaked me out was he then tells this story about how on alumni weekend, him and his roommates are grilling on the back porch of this house. And this older gentleman, an alumni, breaks off from the group he's walking with on the street and comes over and stands in their backyard and introduces himself and says, "I used to live here." They ask him, "Do you want to come inside and see your old room?" And he goes, "No." And he also wouldn't stand on the back porch. And they talk, they shoot the breeze, and then the guy's friends call him back to his group, and he turns to leave and he says bye, and he looks at all of them standing on the back porch and goes, "By the way, don't F with the demon in the basement." I don't know what I saw, and I don't want to know. But that story is like so vivid in my mind still. And that's my ghost story. So there you go.